Good afternoon. Chapter 17, the Internet of Things and ERP, also known as Enterprise Resource Planning. In today's chapter and lecture, we're going to understand what an Enterprise Resource Planning system is, and we're going to explain how ERP integrates business units through information sharing. We're also going to illustrate how supply chain planning control fits within ERP. The world of connected assets. Today, practically any device can feed smart information to a firm. The challenge is finding ways to use the information to make better decisions. Special consideration related to the security of the networks and the devices connected to them. I think today's lecture, when we saw the presentations by the two groups, we noticed that the groups were beginning to make decisions based upon data. And what's interesting is this data, which is generally laptop or ERP or computer-based, can now actually be seen on your phone. So conceivably, you could be running a business on your smartphone. Intelligent devices connected through the Internet. The IoT, or Internet of Things, refers to the billions of devices that are connected to the Internet. Many of these devices are constantly collecting and storing data. We also find that they're listening in on us. Today, it's possible to connect anything to the Internet. ERP is a computer system that integrates application programs in accounting, sales, manufacturing, and the other functions of the firm. It aligns the information of the firm so that you can conduct your business. This integration is accomplished through a database which is shared by all the application programs. The integration of the intelligent devices with the ERP systems will lead to exciting opportunities for radically changing the way business is done in the future. What is ERP? Well, for managers, it's the comprehensive software approach to support the decisions that are concurrent with planning and controlling the business. The information technology community is the term describing a software system that integrates application programs in finance, manufacturing, logistics, sales, marketing, human resources, and any other function in the firm. Accomplished through a database shared by all functions and data processing applications. I've actually had the opportunity to integrate a new ERP system into a company, replace a system, an IBM System 36 programming software that was there. And I can tell you it's a very, very comprehensive, difficult thing to replace an ERP system. Everybody has to get involved in all the different departments because nobody is an expert in all departments. And when you're laying out the requirements for the ERP, you've got to meet with every single department and understand their operations so that you can include them in the most productive way. There are 4 aspects of ERP software that determine the quality of an ERP system. The first one, the software should be multifunctional in scope. It should be encompassing as many areas of the business entity as it can. And it should be integrated, meaning that when you create a PO, that information can go to purchasing, and then that information can then go to the supplier, and then the supplier will ship that information so that when it comes into the warehouse can pull up the PO and see the information and then receive this product so that it can go into inventory, and then you can generate sales orders off of that. The software needs to be modular in structure, and the software must facilitate basic planning and control activities. An ERP system is the most appropriate for companies seeking the benefits of data and process integration supported by its information system. This software system also is very important so that you can scale up your business. So if you're increasing your business, you can just add more data to this software. You don't have to keep adding different type of software because it's modular in nature, which means it can be expanded when you are expanding your business. ERP software can be built with software modules from different vendors. Sometimes a vendor doesn't have a warehousing or distribution ERP system, so you may have to acquire that from another company, but it needs to be able to be integrated into the rest of the system. Otherwise, it's a standalone system, and it's not really going to help the rest of the company and integrate when you're receiving product or you're trying to ship product. Transaction processing is the posting and tracking of the activities that document the business. Efficient handling of the transactions as goods move through each step of the process is the primary goal of the ERP system. And also, decision support is really important because it helps the user make judgments basically about how to run their business. This is the second objective of the ERP. People make decisions and the system supports better decision making. Makes sense, right? How does the ERP system connect to the functional units? Well, typically, ERP systems made up of functionally oriented and tightly integrated modules. All the modules of the system use a common database that is updated in real time. ERP vendors are constantly looking for ways to improve the functionality of their software, so new features are often added, and they need to be compatible with the existing modules that are already in place. The scope of ER applications. So, enterprise, which stands for basically the entire organization, and it helps resource planning. So, when we take a look, where's my mouse? Here it is. So, when we take a look at this matrix here, we'll see that you've got human resource management involved, finance, sales and marketing, transaction processing, report generation, data warehousing, enterprise performance, and enterprise planning module. Then you also have manufacturing and logistics, which would include planning and control, sales and operation planning, material and capacity planning, material and vendor management. Typical ERP modules, as I just said, you have finance, manufacturing, logistics, sales and marketing, and human resources. Typical components of manufacturing and logistics, as stated before, the sales and operation planning, materials management, plant maintenance, quality management, production planning and control, as well as project management. I don't see anything here regarding shipping and transportation, freight bills and whatever, but typically logistics would include those components as well. Now what happens sometimes is when you get an ERP system, you may have a module that is not offered by the ERP system. So at that point, what you'd have to do is get customized software. And you can have customized software. You can buy it from a third party. You can create it, internally with programmers, and then you're going to have to integrate it into the existing ERP. Sometimes that is not possible, and you end up having something what's known as a standalone system. And sometimes standalone systems are good in the sense that you may not want to share certain proprietary information or whatever. But generally what I've seen is everything is integrated, and if it has good security protocols, it's pretty good that it works tightly from A to Z. So in addition to the standard application models, I've indicated you have special add-on modules, and these link to all the standardization, and they tailor applications to very specific needs that the company has. Data integration. ERPs work from a single database, and transactions are processed in real time, meaning they update immediately. As soon as the transaction is entered, the effect is known by all users in the system. The data entered by one functional area updates all other functional areas, and the data is processed in real time. It eliminates reposting of data errors and ensures a common vision is instantly displayed throughout the organization. Data warehouse. It's a special program that is designed to automatically archive and process data for users that are outside the basic ERP system applications. What does that mean? Well, that means sometimes you may have to query the system and ask it certain questions or get information that is not basic. But by having a data warehouse, you'll be able to query this data and get your information that you need. How supply chain planning and control fits within ERP. Well, since we know that ERP is concerned with every aspect of the entire supply chain, from managing materials and scheduling machines and people, or coordinating supplies and customers, this coordination requires success runs across all functional areas of the firm. An ERP system is designed to provide the information and decision support needed to coordinate this. SAP Supply Chain Management. SAP is a very famous software package, and is prevalent within most of the Fortune 500 companies. But what this does, it basically divides the supply chain software into four main functions: supply chain planning, execution, collaboration, and coordination. These supply chain design modules provide a centralized overview of the entire supply chain, as well as key performance indicators. We've heard this term before. Jose, what is the acronym for KPI? That's right, it is KPI. And KPI are key performance indicators that give us an idea of how things are running within an organization. And it's known as data. And this data is used, and we aggregate that, and we collect it, and we compare it, and we see how we're doing quarter over quarter. And sometimes KPIs, we pick them out, and we're looking for very specific performance indicators on how our company is doing. Materials management shares inventory and procurement order information. Collaborative manufacturing shares information with partners. We got into that, I think, very heavily when Ed was talking about relationships between supplier and reseller. It's really, really important that suppliers and resellers have a good relationship, because they're partners in working and providing product and then selling the product. So we talked about the contracts that they have, and they should also be known as win-win, meaning you're working together positively for similar goals. Collaborative fulfillment supports partnerships that can intelligently commit to delivery dates in real time. And many times this information from the ERP is actually shared with the suppliers. They may electronically receive the POs, and then sometimes inventory information is also shared with them, because if inventory levels go down a certain point, then the supplier will be able to contact the reseller and indicate that, hey, you're low on this stock, should we have a contract? And sometimes these contracts are automatically printed out when stock levels go below the order point. The Inventory Collaboration Hub uses the internet to gain visibility to suppliers and manage the replenishment process. This is something that I just referred to. Collaborative replenishment planning allows manufacturers to collaborate with their strategic retail customers. And then we have VMI, which is vendor managed inventory. We talked about that in the last lecture. It enables the vendor-driven inventory replacement. So based upon a set of collective pre-planned numbers, once you reach those, then the supplier may get an automatically transmitted purchase order indicating they have to build these items since the reorder points were hit, and you've got to get in more inventory, otherwise you're going to stock out. Enterprise Portal gives users personalized access to a range of information, applications, and services supported by the system. Mobile Supply Chain Management allows people to plan, execute, and monitor activity using mobile and remote devices, iPads, laptops, cell phones. Supply Chain Event Management monitors the execution of supply chain events, and Supply Chain Performance Management allows the firm to monitor KPIs. Performance metrics to evaluate integrated system effectiveness. So you've got your ERP system set up. It's providing the data needed for a specific set of performance measures. This will allow a firm to evaluate the strategic alignment of the various functions with the firm's strategy. Here we go again with that alignment word, right? The three major functional areas: purchasing, manufacturing, sales, and distribution. Tight cooperation is required between these three functions for effective manufacturing, planning, and control. So here's the manufacturing operating cycle. You've got procurement, purchase cost of material, accounts payable is involved because you better be able to afford it and have the cash available. Then this this product is acquired, and the raw materials go in inventory, then it's manufactured, you have work in process, and then it moves to finished goods inventory. So the finished good inventory goes into the sales and distribution cycle, where you're going to ship this product to the customer, and then it will generate an invoice for accounts receivable for the customers that are receiving the products. The functional silo approach, we have purchasing, manufacturing, and distribution, and the previous slide just illustrated this functional silo approach. Implications if all three areas are allowed to work independently? Well, purchasing will buy the largest quantities possible. Why is that? Editha? No. Donovan? Exactly. It results in large amounts of raw material inventory, and that is not lean manufacturing, but purchasing is doing its job because they're trying to lower the cost. But should purchasing be buying that much inventory, particularly if these areas are working independently? Manufacturing groups desire to maximize production values. Distribution will try to fully load every single truck, right? And the sales group might sell product that cannot possibly be delivered on time. We can't possibly get it into the warehouse in time, and then you're going to have unsatisfied customers. So this is what happens when these three areas do not work closely together and function as independent or silo within the organization. In summary, ERP is a comprehensive software system that integrates data from all functional areas of the business. The benefits gained are better processes, information accuracy, and responsiveness through the real-time information provided by the system. Not even talking about the money that would be saved when all of these functional areas are tightly aligned and work as a team and work together. Typical ERP systems have application models in finance, manufacturing and logistics, sales and marketing, and human resources. The software modules within them connect to a common database that is updated in real time, providing the same information to everybody who is accessing the system information. And application for supply chain activities are all included. And this concludes the lecture. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time.